Okay, welcome into another edition of XFeed. What's up? My name is The Shiller. If this is your first time watching, we talk about NFTs, Web3, maybe your favorite project. Maybe we'll talk highly of it. Maybe we'll talk dastardly of it. A lot of different headlines across the space today. Seems that crypto is getting more adopted worldwide. Maybe not exactly where you are. But one thing, from the earlier users, the NBA Top Shot days, if you know what I mean, everybody was like, damn, Flow is going to be it. Apparently, they're getting connected to Ethereum here. A little EVM compatibility. Going into the insights and info on that, we're going to be comparing the Ethereum NFT Marketplace compared to the Bitcoin one. And I'll give you a little bit of a spoiler. The two top projects right now on daily volume, the exact same United States dollars worth on the one day. That's crazy. If you guys are here and excited for the show, I would absolutely love it if you could share it, give it a like, and if not, well, you do you. Harry Swan, the man that's a swan, that's Harry. How are you, sir? Good to see you. All right, let's get into things. First of all, seeing gaming stuff happening a little bit more on the timeline. Thought, hey, you know what? Play Ember. We saw it a while ago. Now it's starting to pop up more. I'm going to go over the white paper in just a little bit. But if you haven't seen gameplay, there's a quick little snippet. Another thing, if you're trying to get some free XP here with Segment, it's segment.io. Been trying to log in daily. We'll try to mention that on the show so you can capitalize on that opportunity. Other guide pro here, Justin, highlighting a little bit of what's going on with the Wanderers. And this video is not working for me. Oh my goodness, what is going on? Dude! I will keep that lower, and wow, that was loud. Sorry for screaming there. But again, these games are coming out a lot. Some of them are shooters, some of them are MMORPG type aspects. All of them are getting created, and all of them are using Web3. The big thing for me is, where are these all going to live? Obviously, we know that IMX has a heck of a lot of games, and a lot of chains are trying to go out and do different things here, but we're seeing the confidence starting to pop up where a lot of people are saying, hey, we have the biggest names possible coming to join us. And one of those somewhere in here is actually Reboot. So we'll see what I had to say in a second. But one of the kind of overclouding things, if you will, have you ever seen Cloudy with a Chance of Meatball? Great movie. But you can see how, the weather, when it goes sour, it affects everybody. But when it goes away and the clouds hide and the sun comes out, everybody is happy and joyous. And that kind of feels like this with the headline: 2 SEC lawyers resign after agency censured for abuse of power in crypto case. 2 Securities and Exchange Commission lawyers resigned after a federal judge sanctioned and sharply rebuked the Wall Street regulator for gross abuse of power in a crypto case. Insane. DJ Toasty, what's going on? Have you been toasted, sir? I've been wearing this for days. Listen, we got one thing that I don't think I've ever seen, except for actually at NFT events, are people wearing any sort of NFT merch, right? So we got the MAYC hat. Let me bring this up a little bit more here. We got the MAYC hat. Obviously, we have the board bucket hat in here. We got a whole lot of stuff in the other room, but I don't see it that often, and I feel like I don't know how I would react if I saw somebody that was wearing a CryptoPunk jacket with all the CryptoPunks on it. Yo, Trader Pops, XRP, God, send it. Is it moving right now? What's going on? Is it dying? You gotta give me the lowdown. It does feel like a bear market. I'm walking, Harry, I don't know if you're feeling bearish or bullish over there, brother, but I'm waking up every day and people are on the timeline saying this feels more bearish than we were actually in the bear market. Okay, the fact I can now get long exposure to pudgy penguins without purchasing the NFT is an absolute game changer for the NFT market this cycle. I can long pudgy penguins and WETH on NFT Perps V2 Blast instance with any size, meaning NFT speculation is no longer plagued by expensive speculation costs due to their inherent non-fungibility. We've talked about NFT finance. Is that actually something that's going to end up getting, bigger? Probably people have bear PTSD. Yeah, true, Toasty. But this is interesting, right? Where you don't need to go out and buy that token anymore. We've seen the amount of volume that tokens have gotten comparatively to NFTs. And one of the things that I've really I don't know if I would say like struggled with, but I guess like had a revelation in is like, okay, why am I holding these various NFTs when we know almost 9 times out of 10 the tokens outperform? And the rationale was, okay, it seems that most of the NFT projects are launching some kind of a bigger protocol. There's a token associated with it. So, like, in essence, you are having exposure to a token, but then you also have this asset. And, you know, we've seen where My Pet Hooligan, for example, they launched their token yesterday with the Carrot token. Carrot coin. They ended up getting on the Coinbase exchange, and woo, thing absolutely flew all over the timeline. But the NFTs got crushed. They were sitting upwards of 0.9 to 1 ETH, and now they're around 0.5 ETH. But of course, because that token allocation, once people get that, exact same thing happened with grapes. I don't know. It's just very interesting where you're kind of playing that speculation game. Because if we remember, Pudgy Penguins out of absolutely nowhere went running to about 20 ETH, and now they've come back down because ETH has doubled. But the rumors kind of been like, okay, is there a token being associated with it, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm curious how that works for this. Like, okay, if Pudgy Penguins get like super dumped here, does this chart just go, it just goes straight down and it's more volatile than just owning the NFT? But NFT finance, it's coming and it's happening fast. Sizing Parallel's opportunity over the next decade is best represented as the union of Star Wars, Magic, Pokemon, Fortnite, Coinbase, Marvel, and OpenSea times 2 or 3 hundreds of billions. All right, this might be a little bit of copia, might be like, all right, we think that we're going to absolutely moon. There is a lot of confidence around Parallel, and I do very much like it, but it's interesting how we're all kind of, you know, I would say at the very least, all of us are in agreement that one of these blockchain games, and probably like several of them, are going to do absolute numbers over time. It just depends which one it is. But yo, Jeremy, highlighting kind of the quality here from Parallel TCG. And I guess I'm assuming this is one of the NFTs. It might be kind of an access key, not entirely sure. If yo, Jeremy's here, let me know, brother. But you can see how like the diagram, the breakdown, like the very close attention to detail within this. This looks awesome, and it's cool to see what kind of the I guess like drawings is behind the actual. Oh my God! Stop! Safe word! Jeez, how many things today are we going to have absolutely blow our ears? Okay, so there you go. But yeah, Parallel, rocking and rolling. Okay, so to the flow discussion that we had initially a little bit earlier, introducing Crescendo Preview Net. Dive into a scalable Ethereum virtual machine, or just Ethereum, EVM, for anybody that doesn't know, environment that seamlessly integrates with the flow ecosystem as a mainstream scalability thanks to Crescendo. How many times, guys, listen, between you and I, how many times have different collections say mainstream adoption, mass adoption, this and that? How many of them have actually done it? Well, these guys actually have, because obviously we saw what was going on with Top Shot, but it's also kind of funny to think about, because on like the peak of all that, it seemed that it was about like 150,000-ish, maybe a little bit more people that were a part of it. So do we classify that as mainstream, like within the 100,000 range, or is it, you know, all the way up to the millions? Now, obviously, when I'm talking about Top Shot, there's a lot more to the flow ecosystem that we've seen, but just kind of for reference point, it's interesting to look back. Clinton Ziff is zero. Yeah, we love this. We love the GIF. True. Conquad. It's gonna bother me. In Fallout 4, there's the robot, I think. And what the hell's the robot name in Fallout 4? I feel like it starts with the C or something, and it's like Conquad. Somebody look that up and help me out here. The Flow blockchain is redefining blockchain technology with a focus on scalability, developer experience, and the upcoming Crescendo upgrade. And Conquad goes into a little bit of a dive on what this means. So let's see what he's got to say. Developed by Hello Dapper, creatives notable projects like NBA Top Shot and CryptoKitties, Flow blockchain emerged from the need for a blockchain capable of supporting next-gen dApps without traditional scaling bottlenecks experienced on networks like we see with ETH. Flow's architectural solution, unlike ETH, Flow was built from the ground up to tackle these scalability problems. The multi-role architecture separates tasks across 4 node types: consensus, verification, execution, collection. This optimizes for scalability and security. Efficiency and scalability without sharding. Flow blockchain's decision to separate tasks across different node types results in higher efficiency and scalability, enabling dApps to scale effectively to meet user demand without the need for sharding. And when we talk about scalability, like the only thing that Codsworth, yes, Molten Lava, thank you, Codsworth. This guy's name's Conquad, and in Fallout 4, there's a butler, and his name's Codsworth, and it's amazing. Thank you so much. Holy sweet suffering succotash. But, you know, the only thing from like an end user is the fact of like, are these things like actually scalable? And, you know, for the NBA Top Shot users, when we were in queues all the time, yeah, it wasn't really that scalable early on, but then it got improved over time. Cadence, a game changer. Flow uses Cadence, a resource-oriented smart contract language designed for safer and more straightforward asset management on the blockchain. This represents a fundamental shift from ETH Solidity, focusing on security and user-friendly programming. Okay, so I'm not going to go over like all the rest of these things because it's a little bit more technical, and all you guys know it's not what we do over here. But it is interesting that Flow is now just getting into like the EVM compatibility. I thought this was something that would happen way sooner. Obviously, we had, you know, massive influxes of interest for building on Ethereum in general, and obviously the Flow team, I'm pretty sure, was like comprised of people that got together after CryptoKitties. So again, a few years later, but we're getting the EVM compatibility here for Flow. Reboot here, as I said earlier, a lot of chains saying, yo, we got the big dogs coming in Reboot here. That was created by the Pixelvault team. We're in conversation with some big names coming onto the protocol. Big with a capital B. Who do you guys think that Pixel Vault, I should say Reboot Protocol, has gotten on? Because I'm curious. Are people going to get... See, this is the other thing that's kind of interesting with these, right? Is because we have these big announcements of like certain games, and there was one, it wasn't like EverQuest, but there was, it was like Ragnarok, and it got announced on a specific chain. It might have been IMX, I don't know. But it's like, if you didn't play that game, you'd probably be like, unless like you hold the token and you're like, hopefully that's going to bring players, right? But what kind of brands, games, companies would get you like actually excited? Like, try to think about it for a second. Is it a sports team? Is it something where you go out? I mean, hell, is it DoorDash? Yo, if DoorDash opens up on one of these blockchains, we're going to be all over it. What is the thing that's going to get you out of bed? Fluff World, okay, I'm paying attention. Prepare to step into your kingdom in Season 1 Cataclysm. So this sounds like it's going to be a living story. The only experience I've ever had with like a quote-unquote living experience or story is with Guild Wars 2. And so that was a MMO RPG type game. They had a lot of different quests that were kind of, you know, just your typical video game. But at a point, they had it where there was the world got like tarnished, attacked, whatever, and then you had to like fight on the plains, and there was like these live stories for like an entire month that you had to be a part of, and he kind of helped dictated what the story would happen if everybody reached a certain level collectively. And if they didn't, well, then they built out something else where it's like, hey, okay, so if you guys can't do this, this is the way that the story goes. And that looks like how Fluff World Featureverse and this Third Kingdom is going to be. There has been some questions about it being called Cataclysm and one of the lands being called Cataclysm. And I don't think that's like relevant, whatever, to be totally honest. I might be wrong with that because there's some people being like, oh, I can't participate within this first bit if I don't have that land. I do not think that's the case. But here we go. To build your production empire, you will need base materials. You will start on your origin island and build extractors to harvest stones, gems, gold, ooze, and alloy. Prisms and Surrealscapes will play a crucial role in resource production, allowing you to reach higher prestige levels more quickly and generate the power needed to harvest mycelium in Episode 2. Every strategic choice you make will shape the destiny of your empire, the fate of the Third Kingdom, and its citizens in your hand. And there was a really good space last night, if you haven't heard, with some of the Doodle individuals, and Aaron jumped on there, and there was some good alpha that was dropped as well. Apparently, Reebok Impact is like a collaboration where you can take stories and memories from Instagram and somehow... I don't know if it's you turn them into a shoe, turn them into a wearable. There's like a connection between that. So that was the first time we heard exactly what that was. So excited to see. But speaking of doodles with this, for any of the Futureverse fan that wants to get involved in the Doodles space missions, and for anybody that doesn't know, Doodles has these space missions. And the key takeaway for me, and we mentioned this like a few weeks ago, I think, is that it's showing most Ethereum NFTs are being used as multipliers. And what I mean by that is we have kind of like these expectations a lot of the times for these different Ethereum NFTs, obviously, because everybody came out with these roadmaps. And now we saw with like Azuki how they started having like a point system and, you know, different collections are doing their own things. But this is, you know, a common trend where it's, hey, if you have this asset, it's like a multiplier on top of your points, similar to, you know, going on Blur, using any of these kind of sites that have airdrop farming. And it's just interesting to me is like, are these extra things going to offer anything more in the future? Because we saw, you know, typically for those higher rarity traits, not much of a difference. But these ones for like the duplicators, how, you know, they only have like 3 different rarities. Is that how that's going to work for the other ones, where instead of just having the 3, you have all these, you know, assets or traits, and like a certain one, let's say there's, you know, 10 that are the rarest, all those ones, even though they're kind of maybe one of ones or one of 5s, they turn into multipliers. Everything just seems like it's going into a point system. That's not neither here nor there. It's just something that I think worth paying attention to if you're thinking about going out into the NFT markets, because it feels like a lot of the stuff is hyper speculated on right now. Nyan Heroes, 200,000 downloads, 400,000 hours played, 35,000 daily active users, and 641,000 unique wallets, with 1.3 registered for missions. So Nyan Heroes, if you haven't seen it, hero shooter where cats pilot giant mechs. Creators of Halo and Destiny, backed by Mechanism Capital, Delphi Ventures, and Shima Capital. 730,000 followers. Their post here, 1.8 million views. I feel like I've heard about this before. I've not really looked into it. This is like my first time seeing it. It looks like a 6v6 shooter type game. It's wild that we're like at a point in 2024 when there's probably like 500 plus shooters that are like very similar to this, but they've not gotten the track. They've not, you know, they've potentially gotten a little bit of attention and then it goes away. Some of them might not be blockchain related, but it's crazy that there's new variations continually being made every single day. Just in, Venezuela is planning to start using cryptocurrencies for oil sales as U.S. has reimposed sanctions on the country. Have you not noticed a lot of global headlines lately regarding crypto adoption? Here's another one. Just in, United Arab Emirates leads the Middle East in crypto adoption with 72% of local users investing in Bitcoin. I think I know maybe 4 to 5 people in person, like within my like general area, right? Like general friend group. We're not talking about anybody that I've met online, but like specifically only met locally. Maybe 5 people. Yeah, that's it. It's crazy. To be honest, I don't think Bitcoin, ETH, or Sol will be around in 20 years. What the hell is this, Joshua? Most of the internet's economy production will be done by future generations. Why would they want to generate value for a chain that some random old people own vastly more exposure to? They'll make their own chains. Okay, that's true. I mean, I guess we kind of have like the argument now of like, why would people generate value for like houses that a bunch of old or random people own, right? Like, do we say that for real estate? Like, if we're hanging out in the metaverse, all of our stuff's there. Like, I don't know. It's weird to think about what 20 years from now, especially with like the technological advancements, but kind of an interesting post. Don't know if it's copy pasta, but hell. All right. Guys, look at this. The CryptoPunk floor. I had a thought the other day, and I was like, I'm surprised these aren't higher. Now, you might be like, all right, Shell, let's go. What do you mean by that? Well, okay. I never really realized how expensive vehicles were. Like, I really didn't. Like, you know, growing up, you're like, okay, that's a super fancy car. That's probably a lot. Wow, that's a big truck. Like, okay, what's the prices between, like, cars and trucks? Then as you get older, you kind of look it up, and you're like, holy sweet mother of pearls, I would have made $100,000 for a car. And then you're like, okay, so if like multiple people, like a lot of people every single day when you go outside, especially in a city, have these massive cars, right? That they've put upwards of $100,000 in, and there's these things that are digital. Now, obviously, a car is like for needs, right? Like this, you don't need a CryptoPunk. Usually, you need a car if you're getting one. But it's just wild to think, like, okay, $100,000 globally, right? Like the entire world, $100,000 for 10,000 people. What? You know, that doesn't sound as crazy as it is. That sounds crazy to me. I'm not sitting on 100 grand here. We could be like, yeah, let's go buy a CryptoPunk. But it is something that, over time, if people don't value having that expensive car, that expensive house, and they're like, hey, we're just trying to find like a store of value that's easy. You don't have to worry about anything storage, yada, yada, yada. You kind of get the idea with it. Okay, so this is esports news, but this is kind of like the plug for all the Futureverse fam out there. If you guys are here, what's going on? How the hell are you? Kid Arcade, hello, Molten Lava, appreciate you coming in here, and everybody else that's kind of silently chilling on the side. But seeing a lot from Futureverse where they're having a lot of Asian representation in terms of they're signing a lot of partnerships, like a lot of partnerships in Asia, almost more than almost any other project. And so I watch esports a lot, and here's a graph of the top League of Legends esports for the spring 2024 leagues. And you can kind of see, you might not be familiar with the logos, but the first one here is the Korean League, okay? And then it's the European League, and then I believe this is Brazil, China, and then North America here in the blue. So China and North America are really low, but apparently some of like the Chinese numbers they are not able to get, I think, if I understand that correctly. Anywho, irrelevant. The point being here is look how much bigger and how much attention the Korean League of Legends scene gets, showing how big, how important, and how massive it truly is as a market. This is something that's like, wow, okay, I get it. I respect it. I need to be paying attention to these different partnerships that they are making. Apparently, Sony has a new patent set to autoplay PlayStation games to grind levels and gain experience without you even playing using AI. So you might have thought way back in the day, if you had a PlayStation or an Xbox, and when you were a kid, if you were playing something that was a single player game or maybe kind of an open world game or something that had a little bit of a grind to it, you had X amount of time to do it. You might have had parents that say, hey, you're only allowed X amount of time on your game system, and you could only ever get as far as you could go. But what if these AIs actually take over, allow you to progress? Are people going to be open to that? Does it change things? Again, some of these games are single player experiences, so why would it even matter in that? But at the same time, if it opens it up, does it make it weird? Well, not really if everybody is able to access this AI, but that's kind of the first headline. Then I'm like, oh, that is very, very interesting. Okay, so let's compare for El Momento. And if you guys are liking the stream so far, feel free to give me a little bit of a liker. Bitcoin versus Ethereum NFTs. So for these runestones here, on one day, the volume is 37 Bitcoin. Okay, so when you look it up and you're like, okay, 37 Bitcoin is 2.4 million US dollars on the one day for the volume. 2.4 million on one day for runestone. So then we flip over to Pudgy Penguins here, and we see that they are at 743 Ethereum daily volume. Sorry, it's a little bit, it's kind of hard to see. But when you look up 754 Ethereum, that equals 2.4 million United States dollars. Now, the Bitcoin one is like an extra it looks about 600,000 on top of that. Sorry, not 600,000. I'm totally losing it here. Like an extra 60,000, but like kind of peanuts in comparison. But basically, the moral of the story is that the top Bitcoin NFT for ordinals is going for, not going for, but has the exact same volume as the top Ethereum NFT. Found that very interesting. Justin, Philippines SEC orders Apple and Google to remove Binance from their app store. Big things in Philippines, very, very much against Binance. We've been covering it a fair little bit, but very interesting headline. Now, another thing I've been talking about over the past kind of, couple months here is why are we holding different NFTs and going back to that yield? And Mad Lads was something that was on Solana that had a ton of different airdrops and really kind of spiked up, and it felt somewhat out of nowhere, especially with the Solana ecosystem flying. But Kryptonite saying here, not going to FUD, but this happens when you run out of airdrops. Mad Lads upwards of 220 SOL, now down to 92 SOL. Again, big changes. Always be paying attention to where like those yield opportunities are coming from, and if that's kind of based off of whatever it is. Now, I want to be jolly and cheery and stuff because it's the BAYC Anniversary. I commented below their post, and if you go to my YouTube channel and just like search videos and then click popular, I have a video of the original Bored Ape Yacht Club mint. And it kind of irks me sometimes when people are like super against BAYC and they like attack certain people, and it's like, if you experience what it was like, where it was like, hey, we were all just chilling kind of like this, they're like, let's get into something for like $200, and then it ended up exploding, and you're just sitting here like, okay, we're here for the ride. This is a roller coaster, right? But of course, there's been like a fair amount of negativity regarding different headlines and things. And yesterday, holy smokes, we have no idea what the previous CEO was doing, but if you've seen the headlines, holy moly. Anywho, boardjobs.eth here was somebody that tried to elevate what was going on with apes, because it felt like, amongst all this craze, a whole bunch of people were like, we want to be entrepreneurs, or we are entrepreneurs, and we want to create something that is impactful, meaningful, et cetera, et cetera. And so Board Jobs started to basically help people sell their IP of their apes to create products, experiences, et cetera, et cetera. But they said we got over 200,000 paid to Bored Ape owners and many more. We took 0%. We pushed IP forward for Bored Ape Yacht Club in the largest way ever for the community. We eventually had to give up. Ask us why we stopped. Why? Why is this happening? What's going on? Okay, so it doesn't really say anything here. And then when you scroll through the comments, they're like, we want 100 retweets to get awareness, and then we'll explain what happened. I'm like, okay, so we're fishing for attention here. Just explain what it is, and then we'll go over it. Why not stream on X Schiller? Are we not live on X? We are absolutely live on X. Kid Arcade, are you not checking things out here? What is going on, my man? Holy sweet suffering succotash. Let me know, though, if it's not working for you guys. Maybe it's just working because I'm the computer that's connected to it. But if something's down, let me know. I will maybe upload it as an entire clip later on. Phantom is hiring the big wallet in the crypto space. If you guys are looking for a different job, senior data engineer, senior software engineer, senior backend engineer, and look at the prices on these things, 180,000 US to 220,000 US a year. And then when you think about it, right? So, okay, if you work for an entire year, and you can buy a CryptoPunk for what, like 135,000, or you could work for an entire year and then you can pay it off. And then it's, you know what I mean? Like, what would you rather have? I mean, I guess it's kind of different because one's a job versus like an asset, but it's kind of surreal when you think of like, okay, having one of those things is like working for an entire year on a job that like probably half of us would never ever get or understand or even begin to figure that out. I just wanted to check. I check again. Okay, cool. So is it working? I need to know if we're working or not. Decentralized payments are the future, and it seems Space Pay is leading the way, says a mustache. Their innovative protocol integrates within existing card machines, enabling payments from over 325 different wallets at no cost. Their contest is a great thing to bring people closer to DeFi. Okay, what's the contest? Join our prediction contest and transform your shopping experience. Imagine a world where you could spend your cryptocurrency in any store. What will you buy first? Probably an iced tea. Quote tweet this post and share your first purchase idea with SpacePay hashtag for a chance to win 1,000 USDT on TGE Day. And I guess that's their like token generating event. I'm going to throw this in the Twitch chat for anybody that's wanting to snag that. I have to log in for that. What the hell? I can't even post. Yo, apparently I'm not even logged in on here, so I don't know how I can. I don't know how we're live, but that's kind of interesting. Again, if you haven't heard of SpacePay, this feels somewhat like MoonPay, if you will, and we will. I mean, maybe cover it again at some point in the future, but not followed by like anybody I'm following. So wait, what in the hell? That guy that was the mustache dude. Am I not following the mustache dude? Let me hold on. There's something There's something fishy here. So the guy that's talking about this, right? That's suspicious. The guy that's talking about this doesn't even follow the frickin' account that he's tweeting about. That's weird. That's weird, and that is suspicious. I don't see you live on X, but it could be me. All right. Well, damn. You might have to go to the actual page, but that's super weird. Okay, so we highlighted Ember Sword a little bit earlier. So here is the white paper. I'm not going to go through like everything here, but let me see what we want to kind of cover here. So the overview: free-to-play platform, powering social gameplay, no pay-to-win, and no loot boxes. That's interesting. No buy-in, wallets are optional, easy to play, hard to master, ARPG, MOBA-type combat system, become a landowner and shape the world, tradable digital collectibles, proprietary custom-built engine, dynamic endgame content. Okay, that works for me. So let me have just like a thought here for you as we end up today's show. And again, I appreciate you guys tuning in today. We are at a point where NFTs are a dead zone. And I mean that in a very, very specific way. People are now questioning, okay, what is the value prop for almost all of these things? Because for the most part, it's literally just been speculation, and that's fine. However, now that we're at a point that people are questioning everything off of how long does it take the team to build, how long have things kind of pivoted, are we close to a point, are they going to launch stuff, are they in a good spot, is it just, trailers that look good, or is the gameplay actually something that is tangible? And so we're at a point now where the prices of almost everything right now, comparatively to 2-3 years ago, is the cheapest it's ever been. For the Ember Sword land, you can buy one of the plots of lands for like less than $100. For the Gala Games, Miranda's, one of their hyper focused flagship games for the Gala Games ecosystem, they had a huge crash on the NFT marketplace after they announced that the Chilean team was taking over because I guess the other team was too slow, or for whatever reason those changes happened, and it's because people kind of have lost faith or haven't realized things take as long as they do. Now it seems that like Pixels Online and some of the Ronin network are really vastly ahead of everybody with like the daily active users, et cetera, but at the same time we are seeing these pop up more and more of them actually showing the gameplay, and you're like, okay, well, if this works, maybe it's worth throwing $100 at. Maybe it's not. I have no idea, but I've just kind of noticed this weird trend of everything completely going down to the wayside, where it seems like progress is actually being made, and we're getting closer and closer every step of the way. Kid Arcade, Molten Lava, Mr. DJ Toasty, Harry Swan, Trader, Pops, and everybody else, again, that is watching from the sidelines. I appreciate you guys. We had like 17 likes on the stream yesterday. I think that's one of like the most ever for a live stream. So if we can smash that today, I'd appreciate the hell out of it. Of course, we're going to be back tomorrow. More things coming. And if you guys ever want to reach out, need me